Hello everyone, welcome to the first lesson of A-Level Physics Paper 1 crash course. Students, before we jump into the lesson, let me first quickly tell you three very important things about Paper 1. Contribution of Paper 1 to your overall grade in the AS level physics, grade threshold for an A grade in Paper 1, and the structure of Paper 1. Students, of all three papers that physics students take in the AS level, paper 1 is the second most important paper because it contributes 31% to your overall grade in the AS level physics. And of the remaining 69%, 46% contribution comes from paper 2, the theory paper, and 23% contribution comes from paper 3, the advanced practical skills paper. So students, if you have already messed up your papers 2 and paper 3, you can still redeem yourself by doing well on your paper 1. Let's look at the grade threshold for an A grade in paper 1 now. Students, paper 1 is a 40 marks paper, and you will be surprised to know that the average grade threshold for an A grade in this paper is only about 28, which means that if you are given a paper 1 of average difficulty level, then you can lose about 12 marks out of 40 and still expect to get an A grade in it. But students, you must also note that you cannot always get an A grade in paper 1 by scoring about 28 marks in it because the grade threshold for any grade actually depends on the difficulty level of the paper. So 28 is actually the grade threshold for an A grade in paper 1 of average difficulty level. However, for a relatively easy paper, the grade threshold for an A grade is usually higher than 28, and similarly for a relatively difficult paper, the grade threshold for an A grade is usually lower than 28. Students, you might also find it surprising that the lowest grade threshold for an A grade in paper 1 in the past 10 years has been as low as 23, which is even less than 60% of the total marks. And on the other hand, the highest grade threshold for an A grade in paper 1 in the past 10 years has been as high as 33, which is slightly greater than 80% of the total marks. Okay, students, let's look at the structure of paper 1 now. Students, paper 1 is a 40 marks paper and it consists of 40 MCQs. And the total time allowed for this paper is 1 hour and 15 minutes, which means that you have about 2 minutes for one MCQ. Students, there is no negative marking in this paper, so don't leave any MCQ unanswered. Students, paper 1 comes from all 11 chapters in the AS level physics syllabus, and different chapters contribute different numbers of MCQs to paper 1. However, the overall maximum contribution comes from these four chapters: electricity, DC circuits, waves, and superposition. Students, these four chapters together contribute about 18 MCQs to paper 1. But the dilemma is that most of the students rate these four chapters as the most difficult chapters in the entire syllabus. Students, in my teaching career of over 14 years now, I have observed that students who end up securing a C grade or a D grade in paper 1, they get most of the questions from these four chapters wrong. By the way, students, the average grade threshold for a C grade in paper 1 is about 20. So we can say that C grade students or high D grade students, they answer about 20 questions of paper 1 correctly, but they fail to tackle the remaining 20 questions because they find them relatively difficult and get them wrong. So students, this was a quick overview of the structure of paper 1. Let me tell you the plan of work now.